control situation.
Can't let him attach that ladder! 130 degrees! 130 degrees! Listen up. We have been boarded by armed pirates. If they find you. Remember, you know the ship. They don't. Stick together. And we'll be all right.
1 minute, I will kill all your friends.
If you're gonna shoot somebody, shoot me!
Relax. Everything gonna be okay. Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Hi.
Hi.
I have accomplished something I've never done before. I have watched every movie nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. I'm gonna give myself a pat.
Yay!
Welcome to the Young Folks Oscar Buzz blog. I'm Evan,
I'm Allie.
and it's a vlog.
Yeah.
So today, our last movie, we're talking about Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks and directed by Paul Greengrass, based on the events of the 2009 food chartering boat that got raided by Somali pirates off the coast of Somalia, and some bad things happened.
I saw this movie in September.
Yeah, I remember it coming out in September.
Yeah, I went to a screening of it back then, and I remember, and this was before I'd seen most of like the Oscar potential films, and I was like, this is a strong start. I don't think it's gonna like captivate my interest.
I was seeing the trailers
for months later.
For some reason, I thought when it had first come out, I was like, this isn't gonna be an Oscar movie, is it? Because I'm like, I mean, Tom Hanks obviously is one of everyone's favorite guys. You know, he's really snarky, but
He's lovely.
he's a great guy. I've never met him, but then I saw like, you know, it was like Paul Greengrass, and I'm like, okay, so he's the Bourne director, and what does that mean? It's kind of like, it was the first one that was kind of like the based on true events kind of story of the year.
Of the year, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so this seems like it's going to be that typical kind of fare that we usually see with those kinds of movies, but this movie takes it a little bit differently in that it tries to play from equal angles on both sides of the conflict, where you have Tom Hanks playing Captain Richard Phillips, a man from Vermont, or is it New Hampshire, the great state? It's all the same difference, guys. They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
And then this movie's Best Supporting Actor nominee, the actor's name is Barkhad Abdi.
Yep. He would be my pick out of the list to win.
For Best Supporting Actors. He plays a kid from a village, and his name was Musi.
Yeah.
Musi. And he's a fisherman himself, or so they say.
Who is put into, due to his circumstances, put into dire situations where he kind of has to fight to survive, which I like that they emphasized in the film. Like, obviously he does bad things, but they make sure that you know why he's doing them.
Sure,
it's not like giving him a pass for doing them, but we're given subtext, or context. Which
It's
I think
subtext
is
or context
really
for like
important.
the something that it's like it's terrible what he's doing, but he's a tool of something much larger than himself, and he's only doing what he has to do to survive. In the same way that Phillips and his crew are doing what they need to survive.
That was one of the most significant lines in the movie to me, where like Tom Hanks' character says something about how you can go back, you can have a real life, you can have a job, and Musei's character says maybe in America you can.
Yeah.
You know, kind of pointing out the privilege that Tom Hanks' character was born with. And I thought that was a really, really powerful line in a film that kind of had its moments of poignancy and then moments of action thriller.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie that it has its kind of action thrilling moments, but it takes a while to pick that up, and like the tension is pretty consistent once the movie starts hitting the waters, quite literally. But it very much grounds itself in like, you know, the kind of like the procedure of like what they did, you know, what they would do in those drills, what the crew was doing.
Yeah.
I don't even want to spoil it, but it's based on real events anyway, and it's, you know, it's based on a book written by Richard Phillips, but you know, the entire second half of the movie is almost kind of like a bottle room kind of thing with them in the escape ship.
But yeah, I think I don't know. Again, it was one of those movies that I thought was good, maybe more surface level good, except for Abdi's performance, which I just thought was phenomenal.
He was great,
and he just won a BAFTA, so people say that could possibly up his chances. It seems difficult for anybody to beat Jared Leto right now, and Jared Leto wasn't nominated for a BAFTA, which kind of makes the whole game of it a little different. But I would really love to see him, of all people, pull an upset, like, because, you know, we love those Cinderella stories in terms of like Hollywood, and he really did give one of the best, most like submersive performances of the year, I think. Like, you know, it wasn't just an actor's technician work. It was actually like a character that we were watching, and I just really thought he was great, and him working with Hanks was great too.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks is always such a great actor, though I mean, he's not nominated for Best Actor. He was at the Golden Globes this year, which that went to Matthew McConaughey. But I just want to run through the 6 nominations this movie has real quick. The first one's Best Picture, Barkhad Abdi, like we said, for Best Supporting Actor. Best Adapted Screenplay. The screenplay was by Billy Ray. It was based on Rich Phillips' book, Captain's Duty, Somali Pirates, Navy SEALs, and Dangerous Days at Sea. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, seriously.
And then the other 3 are Best Sound Editing, Sound Mixing, and Best Editing. Those last 3 didn't particularly stand out to me.
Especially when Inside Llewyn Davis is also nominated for Best Sound Mixing, and I want my movie to get 1 win.
I would say that deserves it.
I know, but I think
what defines the difference between editing and mixing for sound?
I think one of them is like real life performance almost. It's like real life things that are happening.
Like creating sounds and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen those like studio room ones, yeah.
And one of them is like this putting in the score and everything, I think. I don't know, it's really not a question I was ready to answer.
Sorry. But completely unrelated. But
yeah, but I know what you mean. I think, but however, those 3 end ones, all the editing, all the mixing, it's all gonna go to Gravity, like Life of Pi stole it last year. So
and then I thought another important thing to note about this movie was that Tom Hanks was really the only like big A-lister guy in this whole cast. Every other person from like, you know, American Crew to Somalian are all unknown actors.
Yeah, the only other big name was Catherine Keener, played his wife for a good 2 minutes.
2 minutes
at the beginning of the movie,
and you barely see her face too. So
I was surprised they actually even got a big.
It's really strange how it takes those technical like things and makes it very specifically from the perspective of only those 2 guys.
It's definitely a point of view character study on both of them. I don't know. I just it's like I remember the movie, I remember everything that happens, but nothing like sticks out as something worth mentioning. Again, except for Abdi, I really am rooting for that guy.
Yeah, well, it got incredibly tense towards the end, where like in the story, like the Navy gets involved and they're doing all the negotiating, and you know, like these guys are getting really desperate for surviving. You know,
the last 10 minutes are like from another movie.
It really is. Like those last 20 minutes were like where I was really the most captivated by this story. I almost kind of felt like it's only happened in 2009. It was only a few years ago. I feel like this is one of those situations where it was like too soon.
5 years ago.
Thanks. I couldn't do the math.
No, but that just made me realize that actually is quite a bit ago. Scary thoughts. It's half a decade ago.
Half a decade is nothing.
Yes, it is. But I'm getting old, man. Yeah, no, I guess I can see the too soon, but I think they also wanted to capitalize on the guy's book.
Yeah, they did. Definitely.
Book sales, movie sales, woo, America.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of felt like, I liked how it felt like it was kind of like Tom Clancy level accuracy of all the technical stuff. I don't know if that was kind of like something that weighed it down in the way that I could tell its story, but ultimately it's a good, well put together movie. I don't think it's gonna be, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. Other than Abdi's performance for Best Supporting Actor, I would say, to hell with the rest of the nominations.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of overlooked on Oscar night, so.
Yeah. But we'll remember that we all love Tom Hanks and that it was a good movie. So, I guess we'll just do a little wrap-up next week.
Yep.
If you guys want to, or no, I'm telling you to, do it. Tweet at either my Twitter handle, at evgriff42, or at Allie's, which is Allison AJ, or at TYF Official, and tell us what your predictions or underdog champions are for the Oscars next weekend. Is it next weekend?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do it!
March 2nd. I have midterms. Bye.
We do?
I do.
Bye.
Bye.